Hello, my friends. I'm starting a new format, so I'm hoping you'll like it. Today, we'll look into a few hands from the second stage of Ukrainian Championship main event, final table. Blinzer 3570k, Gajewski opens from UTG with the pocket queens. In theory, Big Blind as a cheap leader has all the rights to lead on this board. However, nobody plays like that, so whatever. We play 100% check on BB. Funny enough, by default, low jack doesn't want to bet wide because of the ICM. The cheap leader can exude a lot of pressure here, but, and I quote my favorite book hero, the Bloody Nine, you have to be realistic about these things. So we'll cut the raises of BB down to a minimum. Let's assume that Mr. Kuznevich will always raise hands on value. But as to picking bluffs, he'll do so like a sommelier, choosing fine wine for an exquisite dinner. Nevertheless, the stupid machine still doesn't want to play a wide c-bet. Gajewski's face shows a lack of enthusiasm for ratio of the board in his hand. Nevertheless, as our ancestors taught us, play c-bet now, figure out later. Kuznevich has chosen some respectable glasses, probably representing a blind person. However, who's gonna believe him at the final table? Discipline call. Turn comes up a stress that suits well to the range of BB. Silver would gladly play lead about 1/3 of hands here, but we'll assume that BB will play it cooler. If there's no lead, it is an option to play range check. Nobody plays like that. I think that Gajewski will find the strength to value bet his strong hands, plus add some bluffs here and there. However, queens will play check. River is an 8 of hearts. It completes anything that is possible here. And Kuznevich uses this to his advantage, turns his pair into a bluff. The bet is half the pot. Funny thing is, BB ought to have a lot of bluff hands here without a pair. Some king X with hearts for the most part. But if he bluffs only those, then a call with queens earn a pack of sunflower seeds. So the bluff with 6-5 is over bluff, especially with this sizing. But in poker, the most important thing is know thy enemy. BB bluffs, low jack folds.
Easy money, nice hand.
Oh, and by the way, Kuznevich shows his bluff at the end to properly demoralize his opponent. I swear to all the gods out there, in that moment he looks just like Barry Greenstein, if he could smirk. What does Gajewski's neck movements mean? Is best to discuss in the comments down below. Going away from a tricky ICM spot, I welcome you to a logic puzzle. Here, I won't need any intelligent machines that sooner or later will conquer the world, nor any ideas of a backseat play experts from the chat. Just follow my logic here. Gajewski, with a stack of 17 blinds, barely tapping Lezhepyokov, opens up in EP with king-queen offsuit. Across all the board, passing all the stacks that tap him. Let's assume that his range will be tighter than the porch on the Khrushchev-era apartment on a Friday evening. Is it worth for BB to play call here? I'm not so sure. But the round is not about that. Flop is up in the air. Everybody gets some. Gajewski masterfully hides his joy and plays c-bet around 1/3 of the pot. Could he bet more? He could. But until you see the turn, it's scary to play bold. Looking at the speed of decision-making, Lezhepyokov made a strategic analysis akin to I have a match, I call. But his play was right in all the wrong ways. Let's address all the experts in the back rows. Yes, BB is superior in 7x hands. This is a good hand for him. He can play a lead with some percentage of them. But not the Jack 9. Would Lezhepyokov, as BB, play a lead here? Unknown. Still figuring it out. Even if BB plays here leads somewhat, low jack still wants to get more. Gajewski agrees, and, like a pharmacist from Odessa, measures up 37% of the pot and prescribes his opponent a cure from winning. And now, cross my heart and hope to die, we need to think about the eternal matters. If Gajewski plays honestly to a fault, will bet all his value hands, top pair and up, and sugarcoated with only the most obvious bluffs, like OSD and gut shots, then folding a weak king here won't be a sin. But, as we all know, I'm a neat player and have a neurotic condition to overfold. Everybody knows that, even my dogs. But Lezhepyokov is not afflicted by this. Le Colo! River is 1 more 7. This is the point where Gajewski's patience finally snaps. Without hesitation, he pushes all his chips into the pot, going all in and giving his opponent the absolute last chance to get off the hook, all while demonstrating the utmost disinterest in the play round. Perhaps people with at least 2 PhDs in poker science would object that pushing here is nowhere near an optimal play. Most of the range that calls here results in a split. But there are still some 7x hands, potentially jacks. No need for any calls from low jack. But for those who thought of that, you guys probably meet a crowds of people who are able to hold a full house here on a daily basis. Despite all the effort of Gajewski to force a fold from a weaker hand here, it's time for BB to evaluate his situation. What do we have here? A lot of useless time bank cards that we won't need in case of a call. Tight opponent with even tighter value range preflop. 3 barrels in the face in the worst run out for bluff. We are making a decision in ICM for our spot in the tournament. Conclusion: we have a bad catcher in a worse spot still. That was a power move. 3 starts from Golds. The only missing thing is a catchphrase. I knew you had nuts. As for dessert, my sweet little viewers, a hand from a heads up with an open finale. If some of you are starting heating up, steady yourself. There will be an ending to the round. It's just that heads up is a place where people play with their heart. And my analytics can be far from perfect. Blinds are 100-200k. Romash, the chip leader, plays limp from bottom. Obviously he plays a mixed strategy. Misha Huty isolates him beautifully and gets a monster on the flop. By all means, he could play c-bet here, but chooses to check as a slow play. To me, Romash has next to none motivation to bet, because his hands simply get low value. But forces to fold the overcards such as King Jack, Queen Jack, 10 Jack, Ace Jack. He has a strong equity against them all, and possibility to cooler them. But was all that drilling into our heads that always bet and check for nothing? You see check, you bet. Thus ends the slow play. Misha responds with a raise. Fold for Romash is now a wonderful option, because with all the gods as my witnesses, this spot doesn't look overbluffed. So, ditching a catcher with no chance of completion, definitely a fine idea. But here we enter the Terra Incognita, a place where solver fears to tread. Romash calls, and GTOBZ picks between push and fold. Try and guess, where do Jack 5 fall? Turn is a 7, 2 flush draws. SPR, meaning stack to pot ratio, almost a 1. Misha checks his pulse and pushes. I bet 5 cents against my button, but Romash in a millisecond decided that he'll play fold. Kudos to his professionalism. He still takes some time to get a read on his opponent. But Misha at this very moment struggles to recall. Where the hell did he park? This cannot be seen through. Romash folds, heads up still going. In my opinion, push here is not an optimal decision. It lacks finesse. Of course, nothing powerful can come through us now. But what about other hands? Weak middle catchers, weak draws, or strong ones would easily push flop. I'd like an idea of a small bet here, maybe 1/10 of the pot, maybe 1/8. And how would he play with that part of the range, the one that almost draws dead? Or maybe 1/3 is better, half the pot? Check maybe? How would you play here? You know damn well I won't sleep until I know what you guys think. Let the win streak be upon you all. Hugs, until next time.